Hi folks, welcome to the channel. In this episode I was either going to make a goblet or a chalice. Not quite sure what it's turned out to be, so it's either a goblice or a choblet. We shall see. There, I've just marked up the centres on both ends for putting it in the lathe to turn between centres. And here we go, just mounting it up and setting the tool rest. Just starting off with the 3/8 bowl gouge there, just knocking it into a cylinder. Just squaring off the end. That end's going to go in the chuck in a minute, so it needs to be nice and flat and square. Here we are now, mounted in the chuck, and I'm just doing the same to the other end. Just marking off where the bowl's going to finish there. Here we are, back with a 3/8 spindle gouge. Just hacking out the shape. The video is on 4 times speed, so I'm not that quick normally. I'm just putting a 1-inch forcing a bit down through the centre there to the right depth. Just makes hollowing out a lot easier. Just tulip the end there, so when I put the scraper in, or the hollowing tool in, it's just got a little somewhere to run. This is the carbide hollowing tool. I've got that tilted over at a negative rate because carbides tend to be a little bit grabby, especially in this timber. This is quite spalted, so it can grab where the harder timber meets the softer timber. Just a little catch there, I'm sure you saw that. Still continuing through there. I'm trying to match the internal shape with the external shape, so it's not just a simple shape on the inside. Just going on to the negative rake hollowing scraper there, just to do some finishing cuts on the inside. That's a high-speed steel tool, and just very gently just dragging it along the form, just to scrape the sides. There you go, a little bit of sanding, found out that fingers don't fit, so we're going to move on to the impressive tool of sandpaper on a stick. I am going to make a proper tool for that, but hey. Here we go, on the old round nose scraper there, just going to do a few finishing cuts on the outside of the bowl. Put a couple of lines in there. I'm just starting to take it down to the stem now. Just using that hollowing scraper. Because it's bent at an angle, it's a little bit awkward to use on the exterior, so I should be making a straight one at some point. Here we go, hacking out some timber just to get down to, we'll start getting down to the stem size. Just moving on to the 1/4 inch gouge here. I'm just doing a little bit of detail work on a bead which will provide the transition from the bowl into the stem. Needs a sharp up by the sound of it. Here I'm just putting some cellulose sealer on just to try and stabilise the spalting a little bit. We usually use CA glue for that, but you have to try these things. Here we go, a little bit of sanding. Usual scenario, 120 grit all the way up to 400 grit. And there's the first coat of sanding sealer mix going on now onto the bowl. Moving down to the other end there with the 3/8 gouge, hogging out some of the timber. In a moment of absolute madness, I've decided to do a captive ring. The success rate with captive rings and spalted timber is not brilliant, but I do have to say that's down to the spalting in the timber rather than my inability to do the job. It's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Just using the parting tool to demark where it's going to be. Time for a second coat of sanding sealer before I get too brave. Just getting rid of a bit of timber there to give access to that raised area which will become the captive ring. That sounds like it needs sharpening as well. Just forming the bead on the outside of what will be the captive ring. Quite delicate. It's good practice, or good tool use practice. sanding that down. I was going to bring the exterior of the ring up to the same finish as the rest of the goblet bowl, chalice bowl, goblice, whatever. There we go with the old sanding sealer. I was hoping that also that'll help hold it all together when I start putting the ring tool through it, because there is quite a lot of spalting on that ring. Yeah, a little bit of wire wool to denib. There we go, modern technology, speeded up by about 4 times. Just imagine how slow I was going. Here we go, just a little bit of buffing up. I think that was a bit of microcrystalline there. Nice stuff, that. I like using that. Right, there we go with the old Sorby captive ring tool. I think I made that ring a little bit too delicate really, but it seemed to work. And there we go for the final push. And off it pops. Almost looks like I know what I'm doing. I'm just taping that on there so it's not going to batter around while I'm working on the stem. Back to the 3/8 spindle gauge there with a swept back grind. Just literally hogging out the timber to get the stem to a suitable diameter. There we go, just moving that ring down a little bit so I can get some sanding done. Just wrap the sanding paper around the goblet stem and just move the ring gently to sand the inside. Just tape it back up the other end so I can work towards the bowl. Oop. Tool control. I must get some of that. Here we go, just doing a few finishing cuts now with a round nose scraper. Just back down on the stand end now. Just going to try and put another bead on there, very similar to the one on the top, where the transition is from the bowl to the stem. that once again is the 1/4 inch gouge, detail gouge. There we go, a little bit of sanding. There's no real plan to this stuff I do, I just put a lump of wood on and decide I'm going to do something. But apart from that, there's no drawings, no set plans or anything. Here we go with a little bit of sanding sealer. That spotted hazel does look quite nice. It did have an issue with the actual base splitting, so it's not quite as dry as it could have been. The split in the base just adds to the character. Here we go, just polishing it up once again using microcrystalline. I'm just checking for a bald spot there. And there we go. Fixed, fitted and working. On old Susie there, giving it a spin round. Thanks for watching.